And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed the whatever the hell we just saw. the mukbang stream of the SC Boy casters F91 and Xiaose. Hope you guys enjoyed. As we are getting ready for our second best of 7 of the night, we're diving into the Platinum Heroes versus the KWANGDONG Freecs. Oh my! Again, the previous series did last quite some time, but we have finally made it here to our final best of 7 of the night. Again, only 2 series here each day of WTL. We're going to be continuing the round of World Team League tomorrow and the day after. 3 days of non-stop StarCraft. And here we go in the top right-hand corner on Radisson Station. We have for the Platinum Heroes, ShaDoWn. And spawning in the bottom left of Radisson Station, we have for the KWANGDONG Freecs, Armani. I haven't seen Armani in so long. Let's go. Wait, is this Armani's first match in WTL? Hold up. I know he played in the qualifiers. Okay, no, sorry. He played last week against Bjorn. Let's see. Played last week against Bjorn. Okay, only last week. Okay, so his debut was last week, and now he's here again this week. And I think last week it was played by replays. I don't remember seeing Armani, but oh my god. That's one thing. I'm a big Armani fan from back in the day. It's great to see him here once again. He's looking a lot different. He's looking older. He's legit looking older than I think the last time I saw Armani was like 2020, 2021. It's been a while. It's been a while. It feels like it's been years, but it's been years. Great to see him once again. The question, as always, when it comes to the KWANGDONG Freak players is, what kind of shape? What kind of shape is Armani in after being on a bit of a hiatus, after not competing as consistently for quite some time? What kind of form is he in? That is the question. For now, we're getting into our openers. We are loading into Radisson Station. It is a map that does favor defensive play. It can allow a player like ShaDoWn to get into the late game without too much issue. We saw a similar story in the previous series when we got into Arcfire versus Raynor, where Arcfire was trying to settle into a 4-base economy, trying to take up and trying to get away with it, but Raynor was able to get away with a hidden, with a Spire without it really being scouted or reacted to, unfortunately. So the Spire play was able to catch Arcfire completely off guard, which led into the game ending prematurely, as Arcfire was trying to get into the mid game and then the late game. We'll see what plan ShaDoWn has, as he's going to be opening up Void Ray first. Very interesting, a very different approach here to the game, as with his Void Ray first, he's going to be denying vision. Adept gets across the map. One drone already goes down. One worker falling here for Armani. So a decent moment here for ShaDoWn, especially because he escapes with that Adept. The Void Ray does arrive and is going to be hunting down these Overlords, denying any kind of follow-up scout or vision. And I wonder if ShaDoWn is going to be hiding anything here, as it's just going to be Void Ray into a third base. There it is. Third Nexus is on the way for ShaDoWn. Getting into an Oracle behind this, and it's looking pretty normal. Everything's looking as it should for our Protoss player. As we're pointing out, we're just looking at some of these fringe Overlords that ShaDoWn is going to be attempting to hunt down. And Armani doesn't pull back. He doesn't pull back with those Overlords. Okay, now he does. Can he save them? That is the question, as the Void Ray is on the hunt. And that is a second Stargate. So I was curious how many corners ShaDoWn was going to be cutting, and I love that he is cutting every corner. Second Overlord goes down. The Void Ray will escape just barely with its life. At the same time, drones are falling at the third base. At the natural base. Oracle getting out of control. The Queens were out of position. They were busy with the Void Ray, and they allowed ShaDoWn to get damage done. ShaDoWn, he's popping off. Not gonna lie. He's getting worker damage. He's taking up. That's a second Stargate. I assumed it was going to be second Stargate into mass Void Ray production, but I just saw a Phoenix on the way. And a Twilight Council alongside a Forge were... okay. Fair enough. So this isn't... we're not rushing into Skytoss. I was assuming this is going to be Void Rays into a Fleet Beacon, into Carriers. But no, this is going to be double Stargate Phoenix to support a ground army, instead of relying on pure Phoenix. Interesting. So the Phoenixes, they're going to be looking to cripple the economy, hunt down Overlords, gain map control, while ShaDoWn gets ready with his ground force. I'm pretty sure this is going to be charge, +1 charge lots. The Phoenix is kind of where you spend your gas and then you spend your minerals in the ground army. I'm curious if that's going to be the case or if we head into a different direction. So just kind of waiting for ShaDoWn to pick his tech path. And there it is. It is going to be charge, which does make a lot of sense. So charge lots and Phoenixes. Oh boy. And we have seen Hero make great use of this. The way that Hero does this though is instead of making Phoenixes, he goes Oracles. I mean, he does have the Phoenix variation as well available to him. Again, it can catch players completely off guard. Meanwhile, Armani blindly throwing down a Spire. I don't know if he was watching the last series. The Lings, they get in. Oh my god. Somehow, someway, the Lings, they dive into the main base. They get eyes on the Mass Phoenix, which means we aren't going to see any mutas. I was concerned. I was concerned that we didn't get to scout and that Armani was going to blindly go into mutas and be hard countered and just die. But no, he does confirm the Phoenixes, which means Corruptors should be on the way. Ooh, the boys are being pulled. Drones are going down. Only 2 workers. It could have been worse. Could have been much worse here for Armani. As ShaDoWn is going to be able to maintain himself, get into Charge of Archon. Phoenixes have already been revealed and they're moving out. Even though they've been scouted, they can still get damage done. Just because of just how many there are. Spire still on the way. No Corruptors for the time being. Queens are going to try and keep up. Spire has been spotted, which means ShaDoWn is now fully aware that Corruptors are on the horizon. +1 air attack starting up. Armani, a little bit supply blocked, is going to be focusing on those Overlords to break free, and there we go. Corruptors are now on the way. The Corruptors are going to be dealing with these Phoenixes, and we have Roach speed and +1 range finishing up for the ground army. So Roach Corruptor is going to be the composition for the time being for Armani. Meanwhile, across the map, still just Charge of Archon. We're throwing down additional gateways. We have +2 attack on the way for ShaDoWn, and he's getting his 4th base up and running as well. So what's interesting about this dynamic, one, because of the map, ShaDoWn, he's safe at home. Like, he has been unmolested and he hasn't really been harassed at his pocket base or his natural or his main, and his 3rd should be safe and sound as well. So he's kind of building up his forces. Armani has been on the receiving end of a lot of this aggression, and yeah, he has been having a hard time as a result. You can see here at the units lost, he hasn't killed the Void Ray, he hasn't killed any Phoenixes, he's just been sustaining damage until he just builds up his forces. That's a lot of Corruptors. That is a lot of Corruptors, and Phoenix does still not go down. But Armani is focusing on his Roach army. There we go. Finally, Phoenixes are going to be falling. 2, 3, 4 Phoenixes go down. But ShaDoWn, he doesn't care. Not anymore. He's pushing out with his main army, and I don't think Armani's ready for this. Zealots are being spotted. There's no Baneley Nest. It's only Ling Roach to defend. The Corruptors are across the map. They're harassing. They're going for the bases, which means they're not at home here to protect against this push. Zealots are busting into the mineral line. Drones are going down. But these Corruptors are going to be able to focus down the natural base. Nexus will fall, but the Phoenixes, they're getting out of control. I appreciate what Armani's doing across the map, but I don't think he can hold. Yeah, that Charge of Archon breaking on through, gets on top of the Roaches, gets on top of the Queens. And the Corruptors are turning back around, but there's nothing to turn back to. The Spore at least takes down the Void Ray, but this is getting out of hand. This is escalating out of control here as, again, the Corruptors, there's just so much invested into them. They didn't get the pocket base either. Just barely didn't. Yeah, you can see here that the Corruptors can't really do much to help. 28 drones go down. And Armani is on his last legs. He's down to 55 workers. He has Ravagers, but there's nothing to support. The Ravagers are looking so very exposed. As ShaDoWn is slowly pushing through. We have Chargers coming in behind this as well. Closing the distance, closing the gap. And the Platinum Heroes are looking to take a lead in this series. GG gets called. ShaDoWn will take game number 1. GG, well played. Armani on the back foot for a lot of that game. Again, because of the map, there was no real way for him to really harass, at least not with what he had. You know, Typically, if players did want to be a little bit more aggressive here, they would be going for Dropper Lords or even trying to go for Night Display. Instead, he was trying to go for a more reactive approach and was having a hard time keeping up. GG, a solid start for the Platinum Heroes. GG. And as we get into this, a big shout out to Starduck. We were just talking about Starduck earlier. Starduck. Starduck in the chat. Nerf Protoss. Buff Elementalist. What are you saying? Starduck. Which one was F91? I believe F91 is the one that can't handle his spice, and Xiaose is the one who can. That's how I remember them in my brain. If you're curious about the Chinese casters or the AC Boy casters. But thank you. 14 months with Twitch Prime. Thank you, Starter. Thank you. Much love. Elementalist. Is that a Guild Wars reference? No, I believe the Elementalist is a Kerrigan survival reference. Those wondering, Starduck, yeah. Exclamation mark KS2 in the chat. The Kerrigan Survival is an arcade map, is an arcade game over in StarCraft, and Starduck, he is one of the best players in Kerrigan Survival. Shaking my head. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner, bottom left, sorry. We have the Platinum Heroes, ShaDoWn, leading the series 1-0. And in the top right, we have for the KWANGDONG Freecs, Armani. We go. And again, this is going to be Armani's map of choice. Interesting map choice. I assumed that we would end up on a map like Equilibrium, but no, Alcyone instead. Shout out to the sponsor, shout out to Doyu, Honkai Star, Taidu, and Autofool as well. Without all these lovely sponsors, we would not be able to have this event. WTL, Kung Fu Cup, Masters Coliseum, and all things SC Boy related. So much love. Much love. You know what? If it wasn't for those sponsors, we wouldn't be seeing F91 suffer and try to eat pork, chicken, beef. Just try to eat spicy food in general. Try and fail. Oh. Much love to the SC Boy casters. Much love. A Ducklings KS2 tournament. Well, how would that even work? Aye. Shaking my head. Starduck, yeah, he did win. Yeah. I mean, again, Starduck, he's one of the best KS2 players. I'm still shaking my head though. As we are getting into this. And the reason why I was a little bit surprised when it comes to this map of choice is Alcyone is another macro-oriented map. Maybe Armani wants breathing room. Maybe he wants to be able to himself get into a decent economy and harass his opponents and try to slow ShaDoWn down. But the reality is that similarly to Radisson Station, not the same, but similarly, your third base is pretty well fortified. It's on the high ground, like it's very difficult to break overall. And your fourth base is relatively safe as well, especially if you expand over on the right-hand side of the map. So I don't know if Armani can really touch the economy. I mean, he's going to try to, don't get me wrong, but I don't know how much success he's going to have here against ShaDoWn. I wonder if maybe he plans on using the gold base, but based on Armani's expansion pattern, he's not expanding towards the gold, so that isn't really going to be a factor either, at least not early on. Armani, he's forced to take the unnatural natural at the linear base location before going for his own regular natural base as well. So hatch gas pool here from Armani. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn once again going for a Stargate opener. We saw last game it was for a Void Ray first. I would love to see another Void Ray first opener, just because from a Void Ray you can kind of pivot away and go into a different direction and to keep your opponent guessing. To make it look similar to game one, but go for a different build entirely. Instead, it's going to be not a Void Ray first. It's going to be an Oracle first. Okay, so ShaDoWn is more concerned with getting economic damage, less so with hiding his tech. As the Adepts do shade into it, Adepts do one-shot workers, and they will get... Oh, will barely not get one. They get a Ling, but they don't get a drone. As ShaDoWn is going to dive in once again. He does pick off a worker towards the end, gets two drones, but he loses an Adept. So didn't get it for free. It was a costly trade. 2 drones, though. Pretty good nonetheless. Overlord dips in, confirms the Stargate, confirms the Oracle. And Armani should be getting his queens in position. We have a Spore on the way, I think, in the main base. And the queens are ready to receive. Well, a couple of transferring workers are going to go by unnoticed as the Oracle goes straight for that natural base. 3 drones go down. And the Oracle survives. It does take some hull damage, which is important. It's important to take note of. But some pretty good damage nonetheless. We have a second Oracle on the way. We have Armani sharking around, looking to deny any kind of third. Or delay the third. But with the arrival of this Oracle, we should be able to expand without too much issue. Lings are forced back. We do force the activation of the Pulsar Beam. Not too bad. Which does mean the Lings can dip back in. But we have a third Oracle on the way. That's Forge. That's a Twilight Council as well. This is a very standard setup from ShaDoWn. Going Oracle into a third base, into a Forge and Twilight Council. So, yeah, pretty standard setup here from ShaDoWn. Should be working towards Blinken +1. This time, nothing too crazy, nothing too out of the norm. Likewise, Armani is going for a 5-minute lair and a 5-minute Roach Horn, which is as to be expected. They are lined up in such a fashion when the lair finishes, we can go straight into Roach speed. So it's going to be a Roach heavy composition. Because it was a Stargate opener, we could afford to delay the Roach Horn for as long as we could. And 5-minute Roach Horn is, again, what we expect to be seeing. Unless it was a Twilight Council. If we get a Twilight Council opener, then that does change things. As it has shade towards the third base, but they're going to get completely shut down. Good defense from Armani. He's able to keep up. Able to minimize his losses. We do have a delayed fourth. We should be seeing a fourth base soon, but I guess the Oracles are posing quite a threat. Oh, a big overextension, and Oracle goes down. ShaDoWn has been a little bit wasteful recently. He's been throwing away a lot of Adepts and even an Oracle as well. And it hasn't been worth it. And the Oracles are still looking for more damage. They at least scout. They do get eyes on the Roach Horn and the Evo Chamber, the lair timing. So good scouting information. And still no fourth. I'm still waiting for the fourth hatchery here from Armani. He has 800 minerals. He has a large mineral bank, actually. So, yeah, this is a bit of an oversight. This is a bit of a mistake. Fourth base is now on the way, but it is a delayed fourth. At this point, it may even be worth double expanding. Just to catch up. As we can see, ShaDoWn has a comparable economy to that of the Zerg, which is a terrifying thing. So, on the one hand, I want to praise the defense of Armani, but on the other hand, you know, that fourth base is heavily delayed. And now ShaDoWn has arrived with his main army. Going to be applying some pressure, threatening the bases of Armani. Trying to force a fight off of creep. As ShaDoWn is thinking about taking his own fourth. Yeah, he's working on it. He's going to be taking the fourth base on the right-hand side. This is why I was talking about how on this map, I do think that a Protoss can take a secure 4-base setup here. And I don't really see Armani threatening the fourth base. He hasn't mined through the mineral patches on the right-hand side. So, again, this fourth base is going to be so safe for ShaDoWn. For now, at least. As Armani is moving out... Oh, he does come across the Stalker army. Gets a couple of them. Bleeds out a lot of Lings, though. Potentially a Ravager as well. Oh. Oh my god. As we throw down the Revelation, ShaDoWn did throw down a second Robo and a Robotics Bay. He's getting into double Colossus production. As we see ShaDoWn taking up into Colossi, we can see Armani likewise taking up into Lurkers and a Hive. So Armani, he's able to keep up for the most part. I do like the teching of Armani, but because the fourth is late, it means that the droning is late. Armani, he could be at 80 workers by this point, but he's still building up that drone count. So it feels like he's a step behind. It does feel like he is one step behind. But overall, like, he's going in the correct direction here, or in the right direction. Working towards Hydra Lurker Viper. For those of you that were here earlier today, this is very similar to Serral versus Estrella, where Estrella was playing very tech heavy, and as soon as Serral realized that, we go into Hydra Lurker Viper, and then we get into the late game. Likewise, the same is applicable here on Alcyone between these two players. I do think there is a window, there is an opportunity when ShaDoWn can move out with 2 and then 4 Colossus, just because Armani is a little bit late to the party with his own lurkers. So ShaDoWn, he can try to vie for map control, even deny that 5th base of Armani. The 5th, of course, just now starting for the Zerg player in the top left. Vipers are on the way. Now, once ShaDoWn realizes what's going on, once he has a stable army here on 4 bases, which he's almost there, once he does get to the point where he's looking pretty confident and pretty satisfied with his forces, then we can start working towards Sky Toss. You know, +1 air attack, Fleet Beacon, Stargates, gold bases being taken for ShaDoWn. It looks like ShaDoWn, he hasn't fully realized the tech that he's working against. But like right now, for example, like ShaDoWn, he's got a 1k bank. Now I think is a good time to tech. He's gonna be pushing. There it is. Fleet Beacon is on the way. So ShaDoWn, he is working towards Sky Toss. He is aware that his opponent is probably most likely on lurkers already. So ShaDoWn is already working towards the next step, the final step, the late game. There it is. 2nd Stargate, Fleet Beacon, +1 air attack should be starting soon. ShaDoWn is being quite adventurous, so he has to be careful. There are 4 Vipers out. Armani, he's going to be looking for those Colossi, looking for those Disruptors. He wants those Yoinks. He wants those Abductions. He's going for it. Up! He misses! No! We panned away! He takes a massive Nova to the face. We'll take down those Colossi, though. Does get the Abductions in. And ShaDoWn will be forced back, but he gets a Zealot drop into the main base. A massive Zealot warp in even. And Armani's losing a little bit too much. 10, 11 drones going down. The tech is exposed. Armani, he may have reset the Colossus count, but he has not dealt with these Zealots. They take down the Hydrogen. They're going for the Lurker Den. They're going for the Lurker Den as well, and they will get it. They deny Adaptive Talons. Ay. This is disastrous. I mean, Armani is remaxing, that is true, but no lurkers. He didn't morph in any lurkers either. That's why I was about to be a little bit critical of the fight, because Armani did have Vipers, but no lurkers to follow up, so it just wasn't the best trade. And now ShaDoWn, he's getting away with carriers. The observer really wants to point out that there are 2 Hydrodens. I don't... They really want to point it out. 1 Hydroden, of course, on the way to build. We have to rebuild the Lurker Den. Should soon be on the way as well. As ShaDoWn is continuing to push out, clear up whatever creep he can. And Armani's going to be able to stabilize. He's going to be able to clean this up. Now, don't be deceived. Armani, he may be maxed out. He's at 200 supply, but the soup sometimes does lie, and Armani does not have an efficient army. He has Roach Hydra, no lurkers. He has Vipers, which is, in Vipers, they do add value here, but this army is going to have a hard time pushing into ShaDoWn, especially with the carriers on the way. There we go. Storms are available. We're going to be able to threaten the gold. Workers at the gold are going to go down. Novas are going up! And they will barely not connect. They zone away the army. But Armani, he wants to keep pushing. He yoinks one of the carriers. That was a bad time to pan away. Ay. The storms! The storms are coming. Massive storms on the Hydras. Oh my god! But do we have anything else to follow up? That's the question. Armani, he's pushing up the ramp. He gets another carrier. 0 storms left. 0 carriers left. But Armani could not keep pushing. Oh, gets an Immortal. Again, really good abductions. But he has to back off. He has to lick his wounds. And the army is being refined. Now, again, it is very important that Armani was able to slow down the carrier production. Like, he killed 2 carriers, which means, you know, it's going to take that much longer to hit critical mass. A good start. There we go. Lurkers finally on the way. As we got rid of all those roaches, we replaced the roaches and ravagers with hydras. Now we're getting into this. Now, because the lurker den was sniped earlier, we do have to rebuild those upgrades. We have a lurker range, but I think we still haven't researched adaptive talents, unless I missed that. Since it was already rebuilt. But I would say that at this point, Armani is still one step behind. There are only 4 carriers, so Armani can deal with that. Don't get me wrong. We're actually pushing. Oh my god. I think we're a little bit premature here. The inductions are coming in. Oh, sorry, some blinding clouds even. And this is a rough fight for ShaDoWn. He's going to be yoinked in. Are there enough hydras? There are not. Up. They barely are. 2 carriers go down. At the same time, a zealot run by, but that was an overextension from ShaDoWn. There was no reason to push in, not into lurkers like that. He gets 14 drones. It may be worth it. He cripples the economy once again from Armani. And ShaDoWn, he's expanding freely. ShaDoWn, he has a gold base. He has bottom right. He's on 6 bases compared to the 5 of Armani. And Armani isn't even mining efficiently from those 5 bases either. So ShaDoWn, he has a lot of potential here. Building up his carrier count. Taking another he's just mass expanding. ShaDoWn, he takes center right. Oh my god. A little bit unnecessary, but he gets it. Does take that base. The lurker army has been spotted. ShaDoWn going to be rotating around. At the same time, hydras, they deny the fresh mining base here of ShaDoWn. Yeah, this base was a little bit too ambitious. Oh, as Armani, he's going for a lurker drop. Okay. I see you. We have a lurker drop on the left-hand side. We have a hydra push on the right, taking a big storm to the face, but we need more than just a storm. And can ShaDoWn keep up? Can he split up his army correctly? As he loses another base. 2 next side go down. ShaDoWn out of position. Oh, we have a carrier coming back, but the drop for the most part hasn't really been responded to. Are we going to recall? As we see a massive dune drop into the main. We have control of the ramp. Carrier's trying to push on forward. Oh god, but pushing up this ramp, the ground army, no! Is going to have a hard time. 1 immortal, 2 immortals go down. And ShaDoWn loses another Nexus on the bottom right. That is 3 next side going down. Oh my god. Now, the lurker army is going to get cleaned up, and you could argue that this was wasteful from Armani. I do like that Armani was sniping bases. I do love that aspect. He's been killing a lot of Nexus. But he just threw away all of his lurkers. All of his lurkers were just thrown away, and Armani, he doesn't have the best economy behind this. He can't sustain these losses. At the same time, though, oh my god. Takes down 2 High Templar. Still popping off. He takes down 13 probes. And he takes down another base. That's another Nexus down the drain. This is getting very scrappy. Very chaotic. The Vipers, no! 2 Vipers go down. Full energy Vipers at that. Storms are looking insane. Do we have another storm? We do! Oh my god. A massive storm on those Hydras. They all go down. And this is why we need to get out of Hydra Lurker, as every single Hydra melts before ShaDoWn's army. And Armani has nothing left. He doesn't have an economy, doesn't have an army. That's at 97 Hydras going down. And now Armani's working towards Corruptors, but it may just be too little too late. He does kill the gold, though. That's another... What is that, like a 5th Nexus going down? Armani, he's been sniping bases. He has been sniping bases. But they have been costly trades, Papi. And here we go. ShaDoWn now looking to be the aggressor. Now going for a counterattack. Camping some of the production. Does get eyes on the Corruptors. And this hatchery will fall. Armani's still stuck on 5 bases. Now he does have a fresh mining base on the right-hand side. That is his new 5th. This is true. Corruptors, they do find the carriers. 1, 2 carriers going to be going down. We can get every single carrier as well. There just isn't enough to support. Bit of an overextension from ShaDoWn, as we only end up losing 2 carriers, though. I stand by it. I do think this was an overextension from ShaDoWn. After killing the base, he should have gone the hell out of there. But he does still trade well. Just goes to show how far ahead ShaDoWn is and how little Armani has to defend. How small of a force he has. ShaDoWn, he has double the army supply. And Armani, he just can't muster up the forces to deal with this. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel on both of those bases. I not like this. And GG is going to get called. ShaDoWn! Oh my god, taking the series 2-0, taking down Armani. GG, well played. And yeah, this is why I was really concerned about this map pick. I was really concerned about Alcyone because of if you remember at the start of the game, I was talking about how like I feel like you can get settled on 4 bases really easily as a Protoss player on this map, and that's exactly what happened. ShaDoWn, his 4th base was again uncontested. He was expanding so crazy, taking a 5th base on the left, taking a 6th, taking a 7th, taking an 8th base at one point. And Armani, he was having a really hard time punishing. Towards the end, he was sniping Nexus. Don't get me wrong, that is true. But that was towards the late game. You know, the first 4 base and 5 base setup was secure for ShaDoWn. He was able to have a stable economy to get into Skytoss to begin with, and he was able to have the superior army in the end. Armani having a hard time stopping that from occurring, having a hard time slowing that down, and GG. The Platinum Heroes, they do kick things off with a 2-0 lead. GG, well played. And we'll see if the KWANGDONG Freecs can fight back. We're going to be going on a very short break. When we return, we'll have either Goblin versus Stats or Firefly versus Keen. The reason why we didn't have Goblin earlier, I think Goblin was mid-series. I think he's playing in, I think he was playing in the EPT in ESL Masters, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have some more Platinum Heroes versus the KWANGDONG Freecs. See you soon. And welcome back. Hope you all enjoyed that break because we're getting ready. I just saw Goblin yawn. I wanted to yawn. We're getting into our next best of two, and yeah, it would make sense. The chat was just letting us know that Goblin wasn't playing an EPT today, but ShaDoWn was, and oh my god, we're just diving right on in the top left hand corner of Golden Aura. We have the Platinum Heroes. It is Goblin. And in the bottom right, we have for the KWANGDONG Freecs stats. Here we go. But people were theorizing that maybe they had ShaDoWn play first because ShaDoWn is playing in EPT today in the ESL Masters Winter. So it would make sense that they want to make sure that there are no scheduling issues and that they would prioritize that series first. And hey, he popped off, you know, a really good showing from ShaDoWn, getting the 2-0, and hopefully that bodes well for his next series in ESL Masters. ShaDoWn is going to be playing later on in the evening, and let me just double check. He's going to be playing against Spirit, a PVT. So he didn't really have to show off anything. He didn't have to show off any strategies or anything like that because it was a PVZ that he played against Armani. But I do wish him the best of luck nonetheless. Until then, though, we have our own PvP before us. So far, oh, Papi. I love this. I miss this so much. Okay, so Goblin is going for a double gate opener, which makes plenty of sense on a map like Golden Aura. I mentioned before that in the previous PvP, Side Delta is, I think, the only safe map to go for a gate expand on because of the ramp coming into the natural. And Stats has, of course, in recent months, since almost the start of the year, has come back to the game, did finish his military service. And this is looking like a bit of a Max Pax influence, which would make a lot of sense because Stats was known for his economic and defensive play back in the day. So this is very on brand. I love the idea. We have been casting a lot of Stats as PvPs, and typically he's been aggressive. He's been very aggressive in his PvPs. But if he does settle in this kind of playstyle instead, I like it. I like the idea of there being another player out there willing to open up economically like Max Pax does. So it's going to be a gate expand on low ground on Golden Aura, which is a very risky thing to do. And Stats, I believe, is going to be baiting out an all-in from Goblin. Now, we have a Stargate follow-up here. This should be for Void Ray production if we end up in a all-in situation. We do have Adepts initially coming out from Goblin, so this doesn't look too out of the norm. It's going to be a Stargate opener, though, out of our blue Protoss, which is scouted. They scout each other. Interesting. So Goblin saw the Stargate in the main of Stats. Stats sees the Stargate in the main of Goblin. Even have a pylon thrown down here to try to get a read on what first unit is going to be coming out. Interesting choice. And Stats is expanding. Ooh, Spats even going for an Oracle first. Okay, bold move. Oracle first coming out from Stats. Adepts have arrived. They're looking to shade into the natural base, and we do wall off in time. The wall was thrown down. Zelda's going to be chased away, but it does barely survive. And Goblin likewise also opening up Oracle, not Phoenix. Interesting. Very interesting. The first Oracle has been spotted. Is going to be chasing down these Adepts of all things. Okay. Not getting economic damage done. Gets both Adepts, and we have a Phoenix on the way as a follow-up for Stats to keep up with the Oracle of his opponent. As Goblin's also getting into his own Phoenix as well. I wonder if... I don't think we're going to be ending up in Phoenix Wars. I'm not convinced of that yet, but that is a big possibility. There we go. So we are taking up into a Twilight Council. We're pivoting away from Phoenix production. The Oracle of Goblin going to be hugging the edge of the map, heading towards the main base of Stats. Making its way towards that main. And we'll see if he can get any damage done. There is a safety shield battery in the main base as well. Stats throwing down a second Stargate is going to be committing here to Mass Phoenix, whereas Goblin is not. Goblin is transitioning, and Stats needs to figure that out. He needs to scout. Oracle goes in, sees the Stalkers, does see one of the Phoenixes at least before recalling back home. At the same time, Goblin doesn't pull the trigger. Robo's on the way. We cancel the Stargate, wise choice. Upon realizing, oh, we're not actually making additional Phoenixes, we need to transition out of Stargate play into Immortal production. So Stats is behind in a sense. Stats because he doesn't have a Twilight Council, there's no blink. It means that he cannot keep up with the Stalker production of his opponent, not in a mirror matchup, which is why we need the Robo to get into Immortals to make up for the Stalker deficit. Meanwhile, the Oracle dives into the main base, and we are going to be trying to focus down some workers. Phoenixes, likewise, they get across the map as well. They're in the natural. Oh, Biggs. Oh, no. Massive stasis trap stats. He pulls back a little bit too late, and that is an insane amount of damage already. The Oracle will go down, but it has paid for itself. That was almost every probe caught in that stasis. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. Oh, that was brutal. And from here, even though Goblin did take a later natural base, he is catching up. He is catching up in the economy, as they are pointing out. Now that Stats is back to mining, he's able to maintain his own lead. Stats, he does have an overall worker lead, a probe lead. Meanwhile, Goblin going for a Dark Shrine. Interesting choice. As we do have probes going down. But it's interesting because Goblin saw the Robo. If you remember, with his Oracle Harass, with that Stasis Trap, he did see the Robo, so he should be aware that detection is available for his opponent. These Dark Templar should not be a kill move. They are instead going to be something that can maybe catch Stats off guard and try to cripple the economy of his opponent. As Stats is going to be taking that third base. Here we go. Goblin going to be pushing out as well. Going to be threatening a dive. Stasis Trap is up. Ooh, going to go off on 3 of those Stalkers. Very nicely done. Solid Stasis Trap on that army. Goblin going to try and rotate around. Well, we are just... Oh, no, another Stasis Trap goes off. We're just going to be camping the first Stasis as well. We will not get a Stalker. Goblin will barely escape with all of his units. And you can see that that Immortal count is getting higher and higher. We have 2 Immortals. We're about to have a 3rd Immortal as well. As we mentioned before, because Stats doesn't have Blink, the Immortal production is actually quite important. Oh, as this time he does get 2 Stalkers. Goblin a little bit slow on the draw there. A little bit slow to react. As Stats is slowly catching up in that Blink, or in those upgrades. In Blink and +1. Gateway Explosions on the way, and Stats is taking his 3rd. Likewise, so is Goblin. Now, because Goblin's 3rd base was faster, he's able to, recover, make 3 probes at a time, and he has now caught back up in the worker count. It was something that Stats had in his favor for quite some time. Oh, and he's going to be looking to maintain that as the Phoenixes, they come back in, they get eyes on the Dark Shrine, and they pick off even more probes. Oh, nice cheeky pick off there towards the end by Goblin. Only 1 Phoenix is left for Stats. Despite that, though, I still want to favor Stats' main army, especially now that Blink is done. With all these Immortals, he does have quite a hefty force here, Stats does. And where do we go from here? Do we take a 3rd? Or do we push? And that that War Prism on the way does tell us that Stats wants to be aggressive. We have some cannons being thrown down. Again, the Dark Shrine has been spotted, so we want to make sure that the DTs don't get out of hand. Goblin is taking a 4th. Stats still hasn't expanded yet. Should be looking to do so soon. There it is. 4th base now thrown down for Stats. And we are taking in different directions. Stats, I believe he threw down a Templar Archive, so he's going to be going for charged. Lots of Archons. Yep, there we go. Templar Archives is there at the natural, so a more charged Archon heavy composition. Meanwhile, Goblin is skipping Archons and going straight for Wodix Bay, straight for Disruptors. Very interesting choice here. Which means Stats is going to hit first. Stats is moving out. He has the stronger army. We're going to break the defensive line here of Goblin. Can he pull it off? Can he do it? We'll see as he does head towards that towards that 3rd. Again, the Immortals doing so much here to the Stalkers already. Stalkers are going down, forces the overcharge. With that overcharge, Goblin should be able to hold on a little bit longer. He goes for another reinforcing warp in of Zealots. Dark Templar on the way. Revelation misses the DT. Oh. That Dark Templar going ham here on the army, swiping away at those Stalkers. And Goblin is pushing in. He does take down the War Prism. Revelation does, or I say Revelation, the Observer does arrive in time though. Dark Templar does go down. Oh, the Observer gets sniped. Observer does get sniped in the end, but the Revelation reveals the Dark Templar as well. Stat's going to be able to keep the push going. Down to only one Immortal, but he has the Concave. He can keep on pushing forward. There's another defensive DT on the way. The Oracle taking some hits, throws down a Revelation, misses the DT. And Goblin will force this army back. The power of the Dark Templar. Oh no! It does get revealed. Stats, though, still has a lot of momentum going his way. His Immortal count was reset, that is true. But he has so many Stalkers. And we still haven't really been able to make use of that Robotic Spay. The Disruptor production wasn't really here for Goblin. There we go, we now have a Disruptor in production. But the Stalkers, they rotate around, they find the 4th base. We have Zealots diving on in, but Stats, he has an overwhelming army. It's a massive Stalker count. Yeah, the Zealots, they get annihilated. Now we can go toe-to-toe with the Stalkers of Goblin. We may have to pull the boys. That one DT doing what it can, but we have detection available. Plenty of detection. As we dive on top of the army, GG gets called, and Stats will fight back for his team. Will put a point on the board. GG. GG, well played. Whew, that was quite spicy. There was a lot coming into that game. There was a lot of back and forth as well. There was some strong moments for Goblin, some strong moments for Stats. As we did see Goblin try to kind of rush into those Disruptors towards the end, but he couldn't really make use of them. Couldn't actually, well, there was a window before he got into those Disruptors that Stats could take advantage of, and that's exactly what he did. Pushed at just the right moment before any Disruptors were made, and Goblin could not get into that. And now it's going to be his map of choice. His chance here to bring it back for his team. Up next, Oceanborn. Oceanborn is going to be coming up next. And here we go. The Shield of Ire is back. I'm curious. I'm very curious because I feel like Golden Aura is a safe enough map where you can go for a gate expand and you can get away with it. I'm curious if Stats is going to go for a gate expand again on Oceanborn. I hope that's the case. I love the idea of Stats embracing that style. And here we go in the top left-hand corner for the Platinum Heroes. We have Goblin. And in the bottom right, oh, he's doing it! We have the South Korean Protoss for the KWANGDONG Freecs. Stats. The Shield of Ire. He's going for the gate expand again. I love it. So again, we have been casting a lot of Stats over the past couple of months, over the past like 6 or so months. And his PvP has always been his strongest. His PvP is his strongest matchup straight up. He's been going toe-to-toe with like Hero and Classic and Creator. It was a lot of fun casting Stats during the GSL qualifiers. And during GSL proper as well. And now, and what I wanted to bring up about that is that Stats hasn't been going for gate expands. For the past almost year of StarCraft, he's been going for like these 2 gate openers, just like regular play, as you would expect, even in the previous map pool. But in recent times, he's embracing this more economic playstyle, this more max packs playstyle here in PvP, and I like it. I really do. I really do appreciate it. Again, it feels like the Stats of old. It feels like what Stats would do if he was, you know, active at the time of Max Packs as well. Active in current era. And we'll see where this takes us. We'll see if Goblin this time is forced to go all in. Remember, last game, Goblin just went for a later expansion. Goblin had a worse economy as a result, and he was doing his best to fight back as a result. And he did. Remember, his Oracle Harass was more than enough to actually catch up in the economy, take a faster third base, and keep up with the worker count. So our eyes are on Goblin. It is going to be a Stargate opener out of stats. And Goblin is setting up a proxy pylon. He's getting ready for the one base all in. Okay, now, an opener is just an opener. And what I mean by that is Stats has been doing his best max packs impression, but it isn't a max packs impression without successfully defending, might I add, against a one base all in. So Stats, can you do it? Can you pull this off? Can you get away with this greedy opener? As Goblin throws down a proxy gateway across the map, that's going to be 3 gates in total. Stats with his Stargate, is going Oracle first. He hasn't been able to scout. He's looking for the proxy. He hasn't seen anything yet. The Oracle, of course, can get across the map and harass and get economic damage done. That is I believe, a 4th gateway on the way, so it's going to be 4 gateways for Goblin. 4 gate vanilla stalkers. And we need a Void Ray. There we go. We have an Oracle first into a Void Ray. The Oracle is going to be going across the map, doing economic damage. The Void Ray is going to come out just in time, hopefully, to defend. The Oracle is also going to confirm that it's a one base all in. Second shield battery gets thrown down. Goblin looking to get out of control as he does arrive here with additional stalkers. Stats is being overwhelmed. He's running out of energy. Uh-oh. That is an Artosis pylon. That is 2 shield batteries on the way, and Goblin is busting in. The overcharge barely holds. We're barely holding on. Meanwhile, across the map, Stasis Trap doesn't quite get much done. The first Void Ray does arrive, and Stats, so far, he's holding. But that's a lot of Stalkers. And we already forced an overcharge. This is looking dire. Okay, Goblin, he dives on the Void Ray. It's going to take a couple more volleys, and he will get it. One additional volley, and the Void Ray does go down. It did stand strong for quite some time, but I do think a lot of this comes down to the fact that the first overcharge was forced prematurely. Yeah, we're breaking on in. Another Void Ray is about to arrive, but that's another shield battery going down. Stats, again, he's in a lot of trouble. But the Void Ray does barely make it here in time. He's holding onto the Cyber Core. But here come a wave of reinforcements. Yeah, 3 Stalkers at a time. Yeah, Gateway's under threat. Gateway's going to be going down. No more Warpins are available here for Stats. And we just dive on that. We dive on the Void Ray. No overcharge, and that's going to be all she wrote. We are breaking through. Only 2 Stalkers left. We do have another Void Ray coming out, but it's not quite in position. It can't be supported, not by all these shield batteries. We have an overcharge. Oh! And it barely keeps the Void Ray alive for a couple of extra volleys. But this is still getting out of hand, and there's nothing left. No army units remaining here for Stats. Goblin, it looks like he has done it. That's the Artosis Pylon. No! It goes down, depowering everything. Ugh. Oracle falls, GG gets called, and Goblin will take game number 2. Will tie it up 1-1, and make sure that the Platinum Heroes, they keep their lead. GG, well played. Again, going for a gate expand opener. It's brave, it's fancy, it looks good, but you have to have the defensive prowess to actually get away with it, to actually defend and survive these all-ins. The Oracle first wasn't worth it. We saw that it didn't do it. It stasised 1 probe across the map. That's all it did. It denied a little bit of mining time, and it stasised 1 probe. It's also unfortunate as well that Stats didn't scout the proxy. That's probably the biggest thing. You know, I shouldn't harp too much on the Oracle. I'm sure that Stats wouldn't have committed, or would have kept the Oracle at home, or maybe would have made a Void Ray first if he had seen and scouted that proxy location. He didn't, though. He didn't scout it, so he wasn't certain if Goblin would or wouldn't all in him, right? He was kind of taking a guess and playing in the dark, and in the end, he was taken advantage of. And just like that, the Platinum Heroes, they are one game away from winning this all, and they can pull it off. Up next, we have the ace player for the Platinum Heroes, Firefly. Firefly versus Keen. Let's go. I'm ready for it. I can't believe my eyes. I'm seeing fireflies. Commander Keen, of course, the player manager of the KWANGDONG Freecs and a good player in his own right, up against Firefly. Up next, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we'll have the finale of this series. See you soon. And we're back. Again, a very short break, but we have returned with the final best of 2 of this Team League match of the Platinum Heroes versus the KWANGDONG Freecs. Game 1 is going to be on side Delta, and we are diving on in. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have for the Platinum Heroes, Firefly. Oh, the ace, man. And spawning in the top left, we have for the KWANGDONG Freecs, it is Keen. If you're in the chat, predictions are open. Predictions are open in the chat for a couple of seconds. Place your bets while you can, because otherwise, you won't be able to. They'll be closed for the rest of the series. Get your gamba going, papi. Get your gamba going. Beautiful. Catching up in the chat. Whew. As, yeah, we are getting into our final best of 2. Again, thanks to Goblin, Firefly only needs 1. He only needs 1 game here to wrap it up for his team, to wrap it up for the Platinum Heroes. Meanwhile, Keen needs to win this 2-0 to force the ace match. So potentially there is 1 best of 1 after this if we do go all the way to game 7. We have the potential, but the pressure is on Keen. And again, he is, you know, the player manager. You know, he has been organizing and rounding the boys together up, getting them ready here for these WTL matches. Can he lead the charge? Can he give his team, the KWANGDONG Freecs, can he give them a chance at taking the series? For now, it is going to be a Rax Expand, a very economic opener out of our Terran player. CC was delayed here, Firefly being as annoying as possible with this probe, but the expansion is on the way. Likewise, Firefly also went for an economic opener himself. He went for a Gate Cybercore Expand. So nothing too crazy, nothing too wild in the early game. No proxies, no cheese. Not yet. The openers are very economic and very standard. SCVs are moving out just to try to get some scan information, just to make sure that there is no proxy. And Keen is going for that Reaper across map. Again, he hasn't scattered anything yet. He's still in the dark. He's just trying to piece together what exactly Firefly is up to. As he dips in towards that natural. Confirming the timing of the Nexus. Back at home, we have Keen throwing down his factory, getting his second racks up and running. Interesting. Okay. So Keen is going to be delaying his starport. With this build, Keen is delaying his starport, so we're not going to be seeing a mine drop opener, for example. No Widow Mine drop, no Marine drop. We're going to be delaying that instead in favor of additional Marines, in favor of Stim, in favor of Cyclones. Meanwhile, we have our tech of choice. Up until now, we haven't quite taken note of what we want to go for. We went for a faster second gateway. Interesting. And it's not going to be a Twilight Council. It's going to be a Stargate. Stargate opener out of Firefly. Now, this should be to get into Phoenixes. Oh, as we try to knock ourselves into the main base. This should be for Phoenix Colossus, but this could also be Phoenix Charge. Firefly could go crazy and go Oracle first instead for a more aggressive opener. Firefly, he has options. As he moves out, but it runs into a Cyclone. Cyclone will shut it down. And so far, the tech has not been scattered. That's what the observer is pointing out, that we haven't quite taken note of whether this is going to be, again, Stargate or Twilight Council. As we mentioned before, the starport has been delayed for Keen in favor of a faster stim. So he's going to be having quite a hefty army. He's going to be building up his Marines, his tank count as well, getting into +1, working towards his tech lab eventually. And by the time Keen gets out his starport and his medevacs, he's going to be going for one big push. And this all gets scouted. Phoenix dives into the main base. It does confirm the production, does confirm the late starport, which means Firefly knows that there's a period here where he's safe, where his opponent won't be pushing, where he is going to be, safe to tech however he wants. And interesting, it was a Phoenix first, but only a singular Phoenix. We are immediately switching tech. We reveal the Phoenix, behind this Twilight Council Forge, +1, and I imagine... Oh, I was going to say Blink. No, we're going into charge. Okay. Stim isn't done. Oh, the Marines are being bullied back. These Stalkers just going ham, shaving off so many Marines. They do not get the Cyclone, but the Cyclone likewise taking a lot of hits as well. Firefly, of course, aware that there is this window, but Stim is now about to finish up, and Firefly should be giving this army a little bit more respect now. With Stim, Keen can dive on the army of Firefly, he can dive on the Stalkers. What's important is that because there are no medevacs, every Stim counts, and every Stim hurts. You can try to, again, force out Stims and just weaken the army over time, but Firefly, he's not going to play with fire. He's not going to dance with death. He's backing off. Again, he's clearly aware of the timings and clearly aware that now it is no longer safe to be aggressive and to dance with those bio units. He goes in for another scout. He does confirm the starport, so he's aware that the medevacs are soon to be upon us and Keen should soon move out. And this move out is lined up with Charge. Charge just now finishes up. We have a massive gateway explosion. Blink is on the way behind this. And Firefly should be amassing a Zealot army, getting ready for the push. As Keen is moving out, and the push has been spotted by the Phoenix. Again, really good scouting from Firefly. Even though he only made a single Phoenix, it's done a lot here to keep eyes and keep tabs on Keen. Oof, as the Phoenix will go down to a stray Marine. Third TC is on the way. Hallucination probe scout here from Firefly, just trying to get a read on where the army is. We do have the first stim. First stim is going to be used. We have the overcharge as well. We keep the army alive. In come those Zealots. And Keen is being forced back. A strong moment here for Firefly, forcing out that stim and taking the fight. Meanwhile, Keen just now starts his third TC. So Keen isn't all in, but his third is a little bit delayed. And unfortunately, he hasn't really done too much to make up for that. But what is important is that Keen didn't commit to a fight. He backed off. So he may have been forced to stim, and he may have missed a bit of a window here, but he has retained his army. It's still looking strong. And the Zealots are across the map. Uh-oh. The Zealots are across the map instead. The mines are thrown down. We're zoning the army away, and we outposition Firefly. +1 is denied. Blink as well. The upgrades are frozen, and we just go straight for the main, depowering as much as we can. Zealots are being warped in. We recall back home, and we go for the surround. Can we clean this up? We cannot. Without Blink, we cannot clean up these medevacs. It is being repowered, and Keen, he's just having his way with these bases, bouncing back and forth between the main, between the third. 14, 15 probes go down. And Firefly is hurting. Up until this point, Firefly was doing so well. He was harassing, he was keeping up with the army. He was doing so well for himself, but one wrong move, being caught out of position one time, and that can be it. And Keen has a lot of momentum going his way. Now, the drop is a little bit trapped. The drop actually can't make its way into the main. Firefly this time is ready for it. Blink has completed. +1 underway once again. Firefly is looking to stabilize, but he is now behind in the worker count. Firefly is still recovering, still recouping his losses. And Keen, he doesn't just have this drop here. He has another army moving out. Phoenix comes in. Oh, I love this. The Phoenix is going to be forcing out these medevacs, but where can we go? Oh, God. We're stuck between a rock and a hard place. There's nowhere to escape. These medevacs are trapped. Here comes Keen, though, with the rest of his army. Gonna try and free those trapped medevacs. And Keen, he's going to be committing here. Collapses on these stalkers, but here comes the rest of Firefly's army. He does focus down the medevacs, and can Keen take this fight? He's trying to. Good mine shots. But everything is being cleaned up. This is a very expensive loss for Keen. He's losing everything. Only one medevac survives. Just barely. That's a lot of supply down the drain. At least Keen was able to trade. At least he didn't lose everything for free. That is not really a fight that he wanted to take. Despite that, though, Keen is still up in workers. He's up to 60 workers, and Firefly is stuck on a 3-base economy. It feels like Firefly is all in. Yeah, there's so much pressure on him, and we don't have detection. Oof. Big mine shots going off. No detection is available. Yeah, Firefly, he's all in at this point. One way or another, he either breaks the 3rd base or he dies trying. His else they go straight for the 3rd. They go straight for the mineral line. Stalkers are doing what they can, blinking against these marauders. Good control. Oh, as we try to force some friendly fire, and those Zelts from Firefly, they did not get the mineral line. The bunker was doing so well here for Keen. He minimizes his losses. He forces back the Stalkers. Keen will defend. He loses a couple of workers, 13. I say a couple. That is almost a mineral line. But Firefly was hoping for a little bit more. Again, really nice hold position around that medevac. Around the bunker. Did avert disaster. Up. Oh, Firefly not paying attention, bleeding out a couple too many Stalkers. And Keen, he is running away with this. Again, it was a strong start for Firefly. It was looking good, but it all came down to that one move when Keen rushed up the ramp into the natural. And he got so much done with that. And from that moment, Keen, he's just running away with it. Yeah, you can see Firefly leaning back in his chair. He's aware of how dire this game is, how dire the situation is. He's working towards Storm. Hail Mary play. I mean, Storms, they can do well. You can make up for a supply deficit. That is true. Same with Disruptors. But not this kind of supply deficit. Keen, he's up 60 supply. It's crazy. Or 50 supply even. It's pretty insane just how far ahead he is after that. Especially considering the Firefly was all in with his attack. So Firefly, he needs a miracle at this point. He doesn't have Dark Templar, no Disruptors. It's all about the Storms. Now, if he takes every Storm to the face, then maybe, then maybe Firefly can survive. I wouldn't even say that even if Keen loses this army, it's not going to be over. Not yet. But we have Ghosts, we have EMPs, big EMP on the Stalker army. Storm is done. Do we have any Storms available? We do. We have 3 High Templar. No! But the mine drop from behind. In the mineral line as well. Didn't quite go for the Storm. Keen shaving off so many of those Stalkers, catching them off guard. Pushing towards the shield batteries. Do we have the Storm? We do! Good Storm. Good Storm from Firefly. Oh, another decent Storm as well, but we have a second army moving out. Keen just has so much available, and the Storms weren't bad, but we need like maybe 3 or 4 more. Oh. As Firefly's gonna try to break out. Massive EMP here on the High Templar as well. No Storms left. Only the Gateway army. And that's an army that Keen can deal with. As he sims on forward, GG gets called, and Keen will take game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. Again, the pressure is on Keen. He needs the 2-0 to force the ace match, and winning here in game 1, good start. Meanwhile, you could see the frustrations there from Firefly. He was doing so well for himself. He was getting away with so much. I would have said that he was actually ahead at the start of the game. But we mentioned it when Keen was moving out with his double drop, when he was able to when he reinforced and when he was able to outposition his opponents, push towards the natural. He had a line of Widow Mines behind his army, so Firefly, he was zoned away. He just could not engage. He could not push in. And Keen was able to deal a devastating amount of damage, get himself ahead, and maintain that lead as well. GG, well played. And now it's going to be Firefly's map of choice. As a reminder, Firefly, he needs one más, papi. One win here to take it all for his team. It's going to be his map of choice. Can he do it? I believe he can. You know, Firefly, arguably the best Protoss player in China, the best Protoss player in Asia, in the Asia region. He has been on fire. He's done a lot for his team already. He did a lot for his team last season as well for the Starving Camels. And even in individual league tournaments, he's been popping off. I think it was a couple of days ago where Firefly beat Hero. I think it was in KSL. Or was it ESL Open Cup Asia? One of the online weeklies. Firefly popping off. Oh, he's got a cat. Oh, do you see? Oh, hello. Rufio. It's reminding me of Rufio. There's a cat in the background. It's on the bench. Hello. Really, that's what Firefly was missing. Now that I think about it, the cat was not within frame in game one, and without the support of the cat god, of Miyamaika even, you know, how can we win games? How can we take series here? But now he has its support. He has the cat on his side. Gave him a snack. And is it going to be enough? It looks like game 2 is going to be on Solaris. We have our second map. So it's going to be an interesting one. It does have quite a lot of bases available. And here we go in the top right-hand corner. We have the Platinum Heroes, Firefly, with his cat. And in the bottom left, we have for the KWANGDONG Freecs, Commander Keen. Here we go. It all comes down to this. If Keen takes this game, we get an ace match. If Firefly wins it here and now, then the Platinum Heroes will take the series. And our eyes are on this probe. Interesting. Going to be going the long way around. Going to be avoiding the main attack path. Oh, and we see why. Hello there. Firefly looking to be the aggressor, going for the proxy pylon, setting up some proxy gateways. I imagine some proxy gateways across the map, hoping to punish an economic opener. If Keen does go for another Rax expand, which is what he did in game 1, then again, that is going to be playing into the hands of Firefly. It's a bit of a gamble. It is a bit of a gamble. If Keen had gone for a double gas opener, this would be less effective. Probe is going to be dipping in, and Firefly should be feeling content here. As, yeah, Keen is going for the CC on the low ground. So a very economic opener out of Keen. Going Rax into the CC. And Firefly is looking to punish this. We already have a Zealot on the way from across the map. With the proxy gateway, he's going to be able to warp in Adepts and Stalkers across the map as well once the Cybercore is done. The goal here is to take control of the natural, to delay the CC, maybe even force a cancel. That is going to be the ideal. Oh, the Reaper, though, it is going to be heading in this direction, and the Reaper will come across the proxy gateway. A massive scout for Keen. He does get eyes on this. Adept is being chronoed out as we speak. Zealot is still on the way. CC halfway done. And with this Reaper, we can kite the Adept from the beginning. Oh, it does take a couple shots to the face. Uh-oh. Reaper taking a lot of hits, but the bunker does finish. Bunker does finish up. CC is going to be delayed as the SCV has to respect the Adept and has to back off. We have 2 more Adepts coming out. They are looking to reinforce this position. Factory still not done. CC going to try and finish up as additional Adepts do arrive in time. Those SCVs barely do survive. There's 2 SCVs in the bunker, both very low. And one of them goes down. There's one SCV left. Behind this, Firefly, he's expanding. He's taking his natural. Going for a Stargate back at home. There it is, the CC once again being built. That SCV barely does survive in that bunker. Dips back in. You can see Keen just trying to get away with building it as best he can, but we have been able to delay that production. And behind this, again, Firefly, he's transitioning. I'm sure he's content with the damage that he's dealt, and he can still deal even more with these adepts as we commit to the... Oh, we don't commit to the shade. Cyclone arrives. Keen can finally expand. Ooh. Okay. We have a game. Oh my god. Very tempting to dive on the Cyclone as well. Very tempting. We don't quite go for it. Now, those adepts still pose a threat to the mineral line. As a Reaper gets across now, do we have anything at home to defend? We do have a Stalker and an adept on the low ground. Reaper is going to go down, but we get the scout off. Keen, he barely gets into the main, and he gets eyes on the Stargate as well as the Phoenix. Once again, Firefly, I don't really see too many players do this. I don't know if you saw, Firefly, he makes one Phoenix, just like game one. A single Phoenix straight into Twilight Council. So very limited Phoenix production. He only makes a Phoenix to scout. And he does get eyes on the starport. Oh, the tech lab as well. This looks like a Raven, to be fair. This doesn't scream Banshee. So Firefly isn't fully aware of what's going on. Oh, the Phoenix taking a lot of hits from that Cyclone. Again, as opposed to the previous game where Keen went for a 3-1-1 setup with a delayed starport, this time we have a straight-up 1-1-1 instead. With a third CC on the way. Oh, a very greedy build here from Keen. Going straight for that third CC very early on in the TVP. Meanwhile, the Banshee is going to be skirting the edge of the map, sneaking out towards the natural. So far, unscattered. Firefly, he doesn't see, he doesn't know. I think he was looking for the Raven. Like, he was dipping in a little bit further, just trying to get a better handle on what was happening. Blink is on the way. So if you remember, last game we had a very similar setup, but Firefly went for +1 armor and charge. This time, going into Blink Stalkers. Banshee's on the way. We don't have Cloak, but we don't need Cloak because nothing at home shoots up. And the Banshee just barely wasn't scouted. No shield battery in position. Probes are going to go down. And we may have to recall back home. Ugh. 3 workers go down. The Stalkers, they stand strong. Firefly, he refuses to turn around. He's going for it. He's going for the natural. Can we break him? He dives on the tanks. The first tank is going to be going down. The second tank as well. Can we push in? The Cyclone is going to be CC'd, but the bunker stands strong. Yeah, the Adepts fall, and the Stalkers, there are barely any of them left. Only 4 Stalkers remaining, and this dive is not going to be worth it. Meanwhile, across the map, 10 probes have gone down. That Banshee is still alive. The Banshee. Ay, ay, ay. Firefly pushing in once again. I mean, he reset all the factory-based units. That's true. He got the Cyclone. He got the tanks. But his economy, it's not looking too hot behind this. Losing 12 probes. If it wasn't for this Banshee, I would say that it was an okay trade and that Firefly can, of course, just take a third base behind this. But Firefly's economy is crippled, which means he had to do more than kill the tanks. He had to break his opponent then and there. The Keen, he was ready for it. And now Firefly's in a rough position. He's taking a third. He's probing. But Keen is looking solid. Remember that Keen also got a very fast third CC. I believe it's an orbital already. And he's getting ready to land on location. Once he has Stim, he can break free. And there we go. Stim is done. We can just bully this army back. Yeah, we're getting on top of the Stalkers. We get 1, and we can shut down this proxy. Firefly being very active. He does snipe a medevac. Decent pickoff. A medevac for a Stalker, but soon Keen should be establishing his third. And there it is on the minimap. You can see it floating over towards the triangular third location. Tanks are moving out. We're stuck looking at the units tab, so I don't know if Firefly is working on any splash damage on Storm or Colossi, but we need something. We need Storm, Colossus, maybe Charge Lots. As Keeney's just sending it across the map. Yeah, Firefly leaning back in his chair. GG gets called, and Keen will take the 2-0. He takes down Firefly. It was a rough game there from our Protoss player. He had a good start. He had a good start with those Adepts. He was laying the CC. He was getting ahead economically, but he did not see the Banshee. He wasn't ready for it, and the Banshee was the MVP. How many kills did it get? 12? 13? Too many. Too many worker kills, which just forced Firefly all in. I don't think he wanted to be all in. I don't think he wanted to have to commit the way that he did, but he had to because of that Banshee. And with that, GG, well played. We're getting into the ace match, into game 7. It all ends here, the final game of the series. And it's going to be on our teams here to deliberate. Who do we send out? Who comes out for either team? Who's looking strong? Obviously, from the Platinum Heroes, it's going to be a Protoss. It's going to be a Protoss player. Who exactly? Goblin, ShaDoWn, Firefly, DNS. We got a lot of options, a lot of Protoss options available for the Platinum Heroes. For the KWANGDONG Freeks, who is feeling confidence against a Protoss on Alcyone? That's the question. I don't think Armani is a good pick. I know that Armani picked Alcyone for his series against ShaDoWn, but I spoke about it. I don't think it's the best map against him. I think ShaDoWn or any Protoss player will get like a secure 4-base setup, will get towards the late game, and I mean, it'll unfold the way that we saw against Armani. Don't think Armani's going to be the best pick. Do we go for a PvP between Stats and a Protoss? Do we send out Keen again? Keen! Just 2-0 Firefly. Is Keen the option? Is he the correct answer? Maybe. Or does Stats have another crack at it? Let's find out. Let us find out. Yo, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Asher Bro's cousin. Ashbringer, welcome. Firefly versus Stats? I can get behind that. Firefly versus Stats makes sense. Do I believe in Stats over Keen? That's the question. Like, if Keen is feeling confident after this 2-0, he may come out again. That is something to bear in mind. Now, another option, another thing to also consider is that you can pick players that didn't play today. That's why I brought up DNS. So DNS is available for the Platinum Heroes. I mean, if he's here, he's available. Likewise, for the KWANGDONG Freeks, they can try to bring out TY or Su, for example. TY and Su, they're the other options for the KWANGDONG Freeks. So if they are available, they can be picked as the ace player. Now, we don't know if they're online. We don't know if they're actually free tonight, but if they are, then they are also options. I would have voted for a Keen, but busy cooking. What are you cooking, Bobby? What are you cooking? Senor Slow, bro. Stroking the cat. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the cat clearly wanted attention, and Firefly did not give the cat attention. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe maybe we needed to pet the cat before the series. Here we go. Who do I want to see? That's the question. Who do I want to see? I would like to see Stats again. I'm a bit of a Stats fanboy. I do love Stats. Place near and dear to my heart. I still can't get used to seeing him without glasses. For a long time, Stats did wear glasses, and then he got LASIK, and I still can't get used to it, Bobby. I don't know why. Feels bad, man. Feels bad. It happened years ago. It happened. I think he got LASIK in Legacy of the Void. I think Start of Legacy around then. I don't know. In my brain, always with glasses. Who's up next? For the Platinum Heroes, I mean, part of me wants ShaDoWn. The problem is that ShaDoWn is playing in ESL, right? Like ShaDoWn, he has a match in ESL Masters, and I'm sure he wants to focus on that. So I don't think ShaDoWn is going to be an option for the Platinum Heroes. Yeah, ShaDoWn, he's starting against Spirit. Oof. So it looks like he will not be available. Don't make us know. Making biscuits to go with the beef stew I made yesterday. Oh, nice, nice. Well, I mean, I say nice. When you say biscuits, what are you saying? You're in America, right? So biscuits is like bread in America? Question mark. It's like a doughy substance that you bake? Question mark. Instead of like what biscuits are, which is like cookies here in the real world. Or I guess in like England or in Australia, biscuits to me are like cookies sort of thing. As we have oh my god, who called it? Someone called it. Kronos in the chat. Firefly versus Keen rematch, maybe. Firefly wants his revenge. My oh my. So Keen is coming out as the ace player. In my mind, that makes sense, especially if Keen is feeling confident. And Firefly is going to be coming out once again. Now, he was 2-0'd, but I want to remind you that, especially game one, Firefly was looking good. Like, I don't, even though it was a 2-0, I don't think it was one-sided. I do think that Firefly did have some good moments and some good opportunities, and I feel like he wants to redeem himself. He wants to fight back. He wants to prove to everyone there's a reason why I at least call him the ace player of the team. You know, he has achieved so much this year. He's taken down so many big names, so many big players, and maybe he did pet his cat. In the top right-hand corner for the Platinum Heroes, it is Firefly. And spawning in the bottom left, we have his opponent for the KWANGDONG Freecs, Commander Keen. Here we go. Game number 3. Now, hopefully Firefly was able to take a moment, because he did look visually frustrated after both game 1 and game 2. So hopefully he took a moment to take a breath, you know, pet his cat, you know, give the cat some attention, you know, get some water, like stretch a little bit, and mentally reset. Because again, hopefully like that doesn't phase him coming into this. Hopefully that doesn't play a factor into this ace match. As a reminder to everyone, this is the best of one. Best of one. It all comes down to this one and only game on Alcyone. I miss SSLT Firefly with the grape pop-offs. Ah, the grapes, the grapes. He still has them. He still has them. I'm sure we'll see the grapes again. As for now, Firefly going to be sending his probe across the map. I'm sure, especially after the series that we just had, Firefly is probably going to play standard. Yeah, there we go. We have a gate cyber expands. He's most likely not going to proxy. Oh my god, Keen is unfazed. Rax expand for Keen. No fear. None at all. A safer opener would be double gas, but no, he just goes for the Rax expand on the low ground. Economic opener out of Keen. The confidence, papi. Confident Keen. Commander. Keck. Oh boy. So my eyes have to be on Firefly. Now, again, when it comes to those two games, Firefly, he was being a little bit fancy in his play style. Remember, it was Stargate opener in game 1 into +1 charge lots with very minimal Phoenixes. Game 2, hyper aggression going into Blink Stalkers. I guess why I'm bringing this up is both game 1 and game 2, they weren't really standard. They aren't your usual PVTs. And Firefly, he can play standard if he wants to. He doesn't have to spice things up. He doesn't have to be crazy. We like it when he's crazy. We like it. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure he wants to slow things down. And we can see that here. We do have a Sentry opener out of Firefly. This is something that has been rising in popularity over the past couple of months with the not the recent change, but at the start of the year there was a patch, and the Sentry I think the damage point was changed, which does mean that you can kite better with it. So these sentry openers are more viable just because you can, again, trade and kite better against the Reaper. Oh my god. wait, what? This is crazy. Firefly. It is a safe sentry opener before any techie throws down a third Nexus. This is not normal. This is as greedy as you can be. Poppy. We have a sentry, we have a hallucination scattered across the map. It's a Nexus before any tech. No Stargate, no Twilight Council, no nothing. Just straight up Nexus. Okay. I see you. And he's up against a 2-1-1. Again, crazy. Really greedy play here out of Firefly. We'll see if he can get away with it. Suddenly, the tables have turned, and Keen is going to be the aggressor. We already have the first medevac on the way. Stim just now starts up as well. Keen is soon going to go for drop play. Bearing in mind that drop play doesn't mean that he's going to be committed. Yeah, it's just going to be a mine drop. This is okay. Firefly can deal with this. He can't shut it down as effectively as he otherwise would. Because of the faster Nexus, there's no blink and there's no Phoenixes. So he shouldn't kill the medevac. But he can, of course, split and spread and, you know, minimize losses against the mine shots themselves. Again, Firefly is going to be the defender. And I like that. This reminds me of Haas. I think Haas used to play like this. Really fast third, straight for +1 in charge. And with the boosted economy, we're going to have a lot of charge loss available. It's very greedy playstyle into mass swarm toss. It's a bit of a blast from the past, but here comes a mine drop. Can we react in time? Winter mines, they do drop into the natural base. You do pull away. 2 shots go off. We have a third winter mine in the main. It's in the main. Show us the main. Okay. It does go down. 3 winter mines for 2 probes. Not the best trade, but 2 winter mines do escape. Again, because there's no blink and because there are no phoenixes, the medevac will survive and the winter mines get out. Ready to dive in once again once they reset. So far, a good defense out of Firefly, but the defense isn't over because we still have winter mines threatening the bases and they could potentially pop off and cripple the economy. Phoenix Scout is going to be coming in. They get eyes on the 3-1-1 setup of Keen. They also get eyes on the lack of third base, which is normal. Delaying the third base this long is a standard thing in TVP. Getting a faster third is more irregular, and why we pointed it out. I think it was in game 2. And Keen rushed into that third. But here we go. The double drop is moving out. Blink is on the way. 3 more gateways as well, in addition to the 3 that we already had. Charge is completed. And Keen is pushing. We have a double drop on the right-hand side. We have the main army pushing through the center as well. And can Firefly keep up? Can he split up his units and defend both his third and his main at the same time? So far, he does split the main army in the center, so that's the easy part. He's in position at his third. He does have stalkers in the main as well. He hasn't seen the double drop, but he's aware of the potential of a double drop. He's ready for it. Let's go. Blink not quite done yet. +1 still on the way. Keen getting his third base on location behind this. Good force fields. Ooh, mine shot does go off, does soften up those sentries. And the double drop bypasses the army. Gets into the main. But the stalkers are in position. They take down a full medevac. Full medevac does go down. The sentries are pushing on forward. The winter mines are pushing on forward. Good dodges here. Good denials of those shots. So far, Firefly, he is defending beautifully. Even avoiding the winter mine towards the end. And he will chase this army down. And now Firefly, he is miles ahead. He shuts down the army. He got away with a fast third base. Again, we don't need to be hyper-aggressive, Firefly. We can calm things down. I mean, this was the polar opposite. This was like Giga Greed out of Firefly. in game 3. And now this is prompting a massive counterattack. Now the turns have tabled. Can Keen survive? Can he hold on to his third? As that is a mass amount of Blink Stalkers. Firefly up in army supply. up in economy. Mine shots being avoided once again by those blinks. Yeah, and this third base is going to go down. It's not going to be able to float away. That's going to be a kill on the CC. There is a drop across the map. It's going to be trying to head into the natural, but that one drop, it doesn't really pose much of a threat. A couple of Marines. There are Zealot in position. A cannon as well. And Firefly, he's snowballing out of control. He's redeeming himself after a rough best of 2 against Keen, where he did struggle, where he was, again, a lot more aggressive and a lot more all-in his playstyle. This time, snowballing out of control. Takes down the medevac. So far, the bunker is holding strong. Like a solid repair here on the bunker is keeping it alive. But we are still bleeding out units. Marines, Marauders, SCVs. Oh, Keen, he's holding. Impressive. He does hold on. But Firefly is just waiting for reinforcements. The drop coming back into the main, getting some probe kills. Third CC is being rebuilt. But the medevac gets shut down. And we're pushing into the natural once again. And we may not be able to get the bunker, but we should. We don't. Oh my god, the repairs are insane. The SCVs, they refuse to let the bunker die. They refuse, papi. But what about everything else? As the Marauder count is getting a little bit higher here, Keen holding strong as best he can. We get another volley of Stalker shots, and the bunker still stands. Oh my god! I think we need to stop focus firing the bunker. It's not happening. We're not killing it. We need to accept the fact that this bunker will live till the end of the game. As the Prism has arrived, we can finally reinforce on the front lines. Firefly is taking a 4th base behind this. He's not all in. He's not tunnel visioning. Taking a 5th. Oh my god. Even being a little bit too greedy. Taking a 5th base, but Keen, he is holding at his natural. We get a massive warp in into the main base, pulling Keen's attention apart, and finally the bunker will fall. And with the death of that bunker, that is going to be the death of the natural. It's a numbers game. Keen cannot defend both locations at once. He's being pulled apart left and right. And that's going to be a kill on the CC as well. GG gets called, and Firefly. Oh, let's go. Is he calling his mom? What's happening? What's on the phone? Do we have something? What is that? Is that a Spotify playlist? The blur, we can't read it. What does it say? GG, well played. Firefly will take the ace match. He'll win it all here for his team, for the Platinum Heroes. If anyone knows what the hell he just showed us on his phone, let us know. It looked like a Spotify playlist. It looked like he was trying to show us the name of the song. I'm not too sure. Regardless, I'd like to believe he can't believe his eyes. And it was listening to Fireflies. GG, well played. Congratulations to the Platinum Heroes as they did take it out in the end. But a big shout out to the KWANGDONG Freecs because, hey, they forced the ace match and they were looking good doing so. Big shout out to Stats, Armani, and to Keen as well to go the distance here against the Platinum Heroes. And I would have favored the KWANGDONG Freecs, but the Platinum Heroes, they did fight back. Oh, they're stepping on us. Uwu, papi, uwu. Shout out to Honkai Star as they are sponsoring WTL. This is the world we live in. Anime enjoyers rejoice. Regardless, GG, well played. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and a shout out to the teams of players that did perform tonight as well. We had some amazing matches, a long cast today. With that initial ZVP, Astray versus Cyril, it was a 2-hour long series. It was a 2-hour best of 2. Crazy. But yeah, with that, we are done for the evening. We're done for now. We of course do have permission to co-stream ESL Masters, and I would love to co-stream ESL Masters, but the European region is already underway and we aren't allowed to jump in mid-stream. So we're going to be waiting, and we have the option to actually go over the Americas region. It's in a couple of hours. So I'm a little bit tentative about that. Depending on how awake we are and if we're good to go, we're going to be live in a couple of hours, co-streaming the ESL Masters Americas region for day number 7. For day number 7 on this channel. So if you're interested, then we'll be live co-streaming ESL Masters Americas. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. Our next regular stream is in less than 24 hours. We're going to be live with day number 2 of World Team League of WTL. So if you enjoyed this series, if you enjoyed this broadcast, we have 2 more days this week. Tomorrow and the day after with some more World Team League. So yeah, thank you so much. If you also a big shout out to Kuro. Kuro is handling the production. She's handling the production behind the scenes, making sure that everything is working, making sure that nothing is on fire. So thank you so much. And with that, yeah, I think we're done. Socials in the chat. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have a YouTube channel, we have a Discord server, we have all things CranKy Ducklings. If you want to support us, Patreon is the place to do it. And we'll see you guys either tomorrow for more WTL or in a couple of hours for ESL Masters Americas. Otherwise, until then, thank you so much for watching. Stick around. We're going to be giving another streamer a raid. I'm not too sure who, but we'll find another StarCraft streamer to raid. If you want some more content, some more pro StarCraft, ESL Masters Europe is currently ongoing, so you can check them out over on that channel. Usually we raid smaller streams, so they got plenty of viewers. We're going to be raiding someone a little bit smaller. We'll figure out who. Until then, thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye. Bye. Hasta luego, papi. Hasta luego.